Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Team Call. We have a special Diamond Table Talk Q&A, just casual hangout time, and you guys have submitted some questions ahead of time in the post or in messages. So we are looking forward to just chatting tonight, and we'll utilize some of those questions. We probably won't be able to get to all of them, but thank you for everyone for putting some in there. I'm Jaime Haskin. We have, do you guys want to unmute and say hi?
Yount. Hey, everybody.
Sally Baas. Hey, guys.
Chris Rosencrans. Hey, everybody.
Yay. Okay. So I'm just going to start off with throwing the questions out there, and we'll pop in and talk and just kind of run with it. If you guys have been on these before, that's kind of how we do it. So, all right. First of all, I'm going to put a plug in. If you did not get on that Pink Power call beforehand, make sure you do that. By the way, I don't know if Fallon finished before we started, but it was, she was on a roll there. She was on fire. So also a great call to use for some potentials, I think, some serious business builders. So, okay. First question. How do you bring out the why in a person when they say that money's not necessarily a concern? So how can you get someone motivated, essentially, who say they don't really need the money or whatever, and they just want to help people? So how do you dig into that? Chris, do you want to start off with that?
Unmute. Sure. Well, I guess my big thing is that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. I did not see this as I didn't believe Sal. I was a skeptic about the business. I was concerned about the cost of the products because we couldn't afford them really. And so she was like, Chris, I haven't had to pay for them. I only paid for my first month and I've never paid for them again. Cause I literally asked her, how did you pay for this? Cause I know what it costs. And she's like, just share, Chris, just share. Everybody needs this. And so I put my aha cap on, I guess, is like, well, if I thought I was fairly healthy, because I kind of was, minus my issues, and Kevin had some issues. You guys know my story for the most part. But I did not really believe. So she talked about Diamond. She talked about, I'm going to the top. And I was like, maybe, but I really just wanted to help people. So I'm going to say this first. There's nothing wrong with someone having a why of wanting to help people. Okay. We have a helping people opportunity here. We help people with their health and we help people with their finances. And so if someone has a why to help people, don't shoot that down and say that's not a good enough why. Because if Sal had said that to me, I would have probably been like, well, what else are we doing here? And I probably would have quit because I really love helping people. I'm a rainbow out of the colors. If you guys know the 4-color personalities, I am a little bit of all of them, but mostly I'm a yellow, which means I'm a helper. I'm kind of the back of the room. I like to help people. And so that was part of my why. And you can get to Diamond being a yellow and wanting to help people. But my why did change as I started doing this business and I started to see, and the belief came, and I was so excited because you guys, we were broke. We didn't have money. So I loved helping people, but I sure loved having money for groceries. I sure loved seeing that I could give back to missionaries at my church. I sure loved being able to write a check to my school, to be able to go to the dinners and the auctions that I never could go to and spend money at to give back to the school. You guys, I never went to the school auctions at Holland Christian because I was a teacher that was broke. And now I sit in the stands and I help with my time, but I also can bid on things. Then I can donate from my business, from my home. I can donate big things, fun things. School says, okay, it's, we don't have enough toys for the auction. They put an email out. Guess what I went to Walmart and did? I bought toys for the auction, bought a big Bluey house for the auction. I don't even know what it went for. I was probably volunteering in the kitchen. So you guys, it can turn into that. So it's okay. Give your people room to want to help people because they're helping people is their why right now. and they will get a bigger why. They will start to see what this will do financially. They'll see that they can do more and give more, and it will come. Okay. So don't discredit the why of helping people. I guess that's my biggest take. Cause when I hear that and I hear that's not a good enough reason, I just am like, yes, it is. It is a great reason, but the other whys will come because it does change and morph and get bigger and bigger and bigger as people continue to do this.
I just want to add something quick to that too. That was so good, Chris. That if you have somebody on your team that says, I don't need any money, but I want to do this, my why is to help people, then that's great. Okay. That's really, really good. Like Chris was just saying, we have a business here where we can help people. So in the process of them helping people, they're going to make money, right? So maybe they don't need extra financial income like Chris and I did, right? Maybe they don't need that, but the people they're helping do, the people that are on their team, the people that they're recruiting and bringing in probably have desperate need for financial income, just like we did. So in that, you can help them help others make money, right? And at the same time, maybe you don't need it, but you are helping and blessing other families in that way. So I would focus on that. If there's somebody in the business that doesn't necessarily need extra income, and they're a helper, then that's a way they can help. There's other people out there that desperately need the business. So maybe they can think about it that way.
It's helping them find their purpose is what you guys are really talking about, I think. And when someone has purpose in what they're doing, that can fuel everything. So that's more important than all the things. I love that. Number 2, what is the best thing we can do to inspire others to go for it for themselves and join us? Sue?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things. But a few things I'm just gonna mention. Casting vision, I think, is huge here, because helping them see what's possible and what's in it for them, what's in it for their family, if they say yes, is vital. Also, I think our belief is very important. It's a really good way to inspire people. Our belief in the company, our belief in the products, our comp plan, a belief in ourselves, that can be super inspiring to others looking in. And I know that Jamie just mentioned Fallon's call, but yes, she said something on there, and some of you guys may have heard, but she said a lot of this business is 90% your energy. And I think that really goes in play with this question too. I mean, you got to get excited. If you're not excited and you're sitting there with your arms crossed and you're half fallen asleep or whatever, how do you expect people to get excited about that if you aren't? You know what I mean? So cast vision, believe in this, believe in yourself, and get your energy up about it. Those are all going to be big things to help inspire people.
Yes. I mean, I think sometimes we worry about the perfect thing to say, right? But it's not always just that perfect thing. It's all the things you just talked about, Sue. Another question is, how do you push through during the times when you feel like things are hard, right? Business is slow. Maybe you're not getting the joins you want, or you're not moving how you want. Maybe you feel like people are quitting. How do you stay motivated when just everything feels slow? How do you keep your team motivated, right? So that's a big, oomph question there, right? And I think we all would say we've been there, right? I think for one, I'm going to start off saying a few things, and if you guys want to add anything, but it happens. One, it's normal. So I think that's important to know that it's not like something is wrong, and it's not an indication of whether you're, successful or whatever. I think we need to, one, realize what are we defining success as, right? And it's not when we're in these kind of moments that means it's it's not a part of your success, right? Because that's going to happen. So we have to anticipate and know that it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be running how you want it to run, right? So how do you move forward through all that? And I am going to say one word that's probably not the most favorite thing that, I mean, I think you've heard a million times, but I want to say that action matters, plain and simple. And I know that when things are hard, when it feels like things aren't going how you want it to go, it sometimes feels like it takes all the energy you have just to show up at the very bare minimum, right? It's like your heart's not in it. You start to feel drained. You start to feel whatever, like it impacts you, right? In those moments. And at least that's what I've seen. That's what I felt, right? So when we're in that space, that can be hard. And I think sometimes that might prolong it at times because that's how we are showing up every day. But when you are ready for true big change, when you want that momentum, when you want to grow, I'm not saying you can just decide in a second and that should be perfect and that cures all your woes. I'm not saying that at all, but you need to show up in just a little bit different way, maybe. And it doesn't mean you have to work so much harder. Maybe you have to work a little harder, right? But it's not necessarily that, but you start showing up, and instead of looking at the very bare minimum you do, maybe look at what else can I do? What is something that I have not done? Or how did I show up before that I'm not showing up now? Or instead of just checking the box of like, here's what I have to do today and I'm done, maybe you're doing some of those things that Fallon was mentioning earlier on that call with getting the doggone phone book out and mailing invitations and doing in-person events. And, you're excited, you're motivated, you're hungry. You're like, this is going to happen. I know where my end game is. So I'm going to put the action and I'm going to figure out and I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to, it starts with us. That's what, it matters. Right. So sometimes the motivation gets us going and we start doing all that action, but sometimes we need to do that action to get motivated. Sometimes the action is going to precede the feelings. And sometimes you're in that like survival mode and you're just getting it done, right? Because you're in it for the long game, right? But when you got that energy ready to come back, when you start to get hungry again, then you start looking at those extra things, right? So, and that's what your team follows. That's why that matters, because your passion and energy and excitement is going to show to the people you talk to, the potentials. It's going to show to your team, and they're going to follow you with that, right? And if you're looking at me and you're saying, okay, but I'm not sure that my team is all in, or I've been waiting for them, stop waiting for them. Okay. It starts with you, and you go find the people who want to run. Your team's there. You're still helping them. You're still like, your train's going. They can follow you. They can keep up with you if they want, or they can work their business how they want to work it. That's fine. But you're not waiting for your team. This is your business. You go build your business. So you go find those new people and you work with those, right? Sometimes we need to create the new business builders ourselves, the new silvers. I mean, we always do, right? It always starts with us. So look back for a second, evaluate your business, evaluate maybe little holes, things that you can fix, and then do the things to fix that and stop looking back and look forward, right? And then I also want to really quick say that this is if you're in this and you're in those moments, you have to have the long game picture. It is the longevity of this business. It is the resiliency. It is knowing that, hey, in the big picture down the road, I'm getting what Fallon was talking about with that, $12,000 a month, $20,000 a month and more, whatever it is. You're going to Diamond, you're going beyond, you're in it for the long game. And when you start a business in the real world, you're starting it with not a ton of your time and probably not making any money out of it, right? You're putting in the long game and you're waiting for that revenue to come in later, right? That's coming delayed. So if you're thinking, well, I'm putting all this time and effort in and I'm not making the money that I want to make yet, that's okay, because Plexus has an amazing comp plan and you are making some as you're building that up, but you're putting that time and energy in because you know that diamond pay is coming. You know that no cap financial income is coming. You're building that business. So you have to be okay with not a microwave society and having everything perfect right now. You have to have that long-term vision and know that that is coming and it is absolutely worth it.
Crock pot, not microwave.
Yes.
That is so good, Jamie. And I want to quick add something to that if I can, just to that one question. How did you stay motivated when things were slow in recruiting? And I agree with everything Jamie said, 100% action, 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 but mindset, mindset, mindset. Okay. When my diamond and my emerald, who are on this call right now, have a rough recruiting month, do I see them or myself? Do we sit back and do we not keep working? And do we sit in the puddle and say, I only got one join last month? Oh my word, that sucks. It doesn't suck, but sometimes we have that mentality, right? So we need to have the mindset to be strong and like persevere through a slow join month. Okay. Because guess what? The fruit is coming. If you keep doing action, like Jamie said, recruit or sending out your messages, your consistent IPA, all of that, in having the proper mindset in, okay, I didn't have many joins this month, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen next month or the next month. I'm going to, there's going to be a time where all these people are going to join. You have to have that mindset all the time. Okay. Especially when it's a slow recruiting month or your team, if they see you stop because you didn't have a great month or you're talking about it to them, oh, I only got, one join or whatever. No, it's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of the just what we do here. But you got to have the strong mindset to just be okay with that. And that's going to keep momentum going for your team too. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. So glad you added that. Perfect. Okay, next question. Let's talk about like time, our structure, how does work? Someone asked, like, what does a normal day look like running your business, even just as a diamond? So maybe even like what does that look like, right? Tasks, how long things take, normal schedule, engaging with other people on social media, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll just kind of clump that all there.
All right, I'll speak to this one, but everybody's going to be a little different, and everyone's situation is going to be different. Again, I'm just going to compare myself now to what I used to be doing, was that I taught 4 days a week. So a lot of my Plexus business was done when I wasn't at school, or at least didn't have students in my classroom, because I couldn't teach when I had kindergartners running around with, 25 kindergartners running around with balls, like I had to be on my game and paying attention to what I was doing. So I posted in between my building time. So again, if you know my story, I switched buildings right at lunch. So I posted in my car before I went in, or while I was scarfing down my lunch, after I'd set up my next gym for my classes, if I had time, and I would quick post. It doesn't have to take very long. I don't even count posting as IPA, honestly. That doesn't even count, because that can be so quick. But then I did a lot of my messages after my kids would leave the gym for the day. But while I was waiting, I had my gym cleaned up and everything was done. My plans were set for the next day already, because I would plan ahead. And then I would wait for my kids. My girls would come over on the bus, and Keaton would come, and actually he would leave again, and he would just go run around school. So I had like 30 minutes to sit and get my work done from 2:45 until 3:15. And then I would go home and I would get my kids snacks ready, and they would start doing homework, and maybe I'd figure out what we were doing for supper or get that going. And I would message while I was stirring something or whatever, browning ground beef for tacos, like you can do this in any way, shape, or form. And I've done other MLMs where I had to leave my house. And there were times I had to do that too, because we were doing sip and shares in coffee shops, and we did stuff like that. But those were scheduled in, and they were done on nights that I was free. But you guys, I put my kids to bed and I worked Plexus. I worked Plexus because I had goals, and I wanted to help as many people as possible. And I wanted to get out of financial struggles. So I worked my business when I had the time. Now it looks a lot different. Some days it doesn't, because some days are crazy. Some days are busy because my business looks different. Some days I'm on the phone all day with my team, connecting with welcome calls, with planning a call, with, it looks different. I have Bible studies Tuesday mornings, which I'm so blessed that I can do that now. I could never do that before. And so sometimes I don't work my business until 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon because my morning and my early afternoon, and I go to the gym for an hour. Never did that either. I always worked out at 5:30 a.m. in my basement. So I get to be a member at a gym now. And, so it looks different now, but yet it doesn't. But the thing is I schedule it into my day and I make time for it. And sometimes it's done in the morning, sometimes the afternoon, and sometimes at night. And as far as how much time things take, you guys, it does not have to take long at all. And if it's taking you a long time to send out 2 messages, then you need to talk to your sponsor and your upline about that, because sending messages does not have to take very long. We have lots of great messages. You don't have to spend a lot of time like crafting this huge fancy message. Short, sweet, quick, get to it and get it done. And following up with people doesn't have to take very long. Sometimes it'll take longer than others because there's conversation, but it does not have to take very long, 30 minutes, an hour, but you can chunk that out throughout your day. And then yes, as your team grows and when your team gets into momentum, it does get busy, but man, is it fun. It is so fun. It's so fun when you get to really help so many people and work with so many people that are excited and having fun and on fire. So that doesn't even feel like work anymore because you're just so excited about it. Okay. So don't worry so much about how much time, sometimes it doesn't have to take that much time. You just have to be intentional. Yes, Shelly, I love that you said that. Do your messages and be done with it, but it can fit in the nooks and crannies of your day. If you're busy, you can still do this.
Chris, since you're already talking about like comparing when you were working, another question was this. So let's just pop this in here really quick. But how do you build your belief when you're not there yet and you are still working that full-time job?
Yes. You know what? Trust. I think that's my biggest thing is you just need to trust that God is doing a thing. God brought you here for a purpose and for a reason, and he put this in your life. And I can honestly say I never once worried about how long it was going to take me to get to any rank. I just kept going. I never once, I sat and I did figure it out. I'm a planner and I like to know what was coming in because remember I was broke. So I kind of liked knowing how I was getting paid and okay, how many more to the next rank? Okay, how many? And I did plan that out and I figured those things out, but I didn't worry about it. If we didn't hit that rank, I didn't worry about it. And you guys, I lost rank. I've lost points before. But I didn't worry about it. I just kept going and I helped my team keep going too. Never once did I sit and worry, when is this going to happen? When am I going to get to quit teaching? When am I going to be a diamond? I never once, I just trusted that God put this in my lap for a reason. And I was just going to keep doing the next right thing. I'm going to keep sending the messages. I'm going to keep helping the next person. I'm going to keep helping my team members help their people and do what they need to do. We're going to walk through this together and God's going to take care of the rest. And he did, and that is really what you need to do is let go of the stress of time. Because like Fallon said in the last call, it's longevity here. We're here for the long game. We're not here because we have to be diamond by next December or by summer or whatever. Or I want to, even thinking about July. Yes, you can plan to go to Maui by July 31. Is there 31 days in July? I think so. Anyways, you guys, you can plan those things out and it is very, very possible to do those things. But if you just sit and worry about it and not give it over to the Lord and just keep doing what you need to do, then if you do that, you're going to worry, you're going to be concerned. But if you don't worry about it, it's not going to be a concern. And when it happens, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, Lord, you told me you were going to do this and it's going to happen and you'll just be blown away. So just trust and do it. That's all I really need to say about that.
Thanks, Chris. All right. Another question is tips on how to grow your team in a small town, or you can even add in if, maybe there's high poverty level. So that could be combined or not combined. I think, that people run into, but, yeah, that's that question.
I'll take this one. I would say, first of all, to not rule anybody out. Just because you live in a high poverty area doesn't mean that should be a focus to reach out to these people because they need our financial opportunity, right? I mean, we have many, many diamonds that were barely making ends meet. And there's homeless people that started network marketing and they're millionaires. I mean, so we can't rule anybody out. And so secondly, I would say, you start with your friends and family, obviously your warm market, right? That's where we always start growing our business. And then aside from that, you're going to find other networks. Maybe you have other towns around you that are more well off or have more opportunity. And so you're going to go looking for opportunities there to find people to join you. You can volunteer places, Facebook groups, obviously add friends on Facebook every day. If you have 3 to 10 mutual friends with someone, you're adding them. You're just constantly networking, constantly creating new ways to find people, business builders, people who need our products, right? So that's what I would say to that. And yeah, I would just say don't rule anybody out. I mean, if they're desperate enough for money, they will find $100 to join you, and they can be making money within 2 weeks with Plexus, right? And so, yeah, I would be motivated to reach out to them.
All right. Thank you, Sue. Good. Okay. Question on leadership. What are your best practices in developing leaders? Qualities looking for in a leader? Do you look for qualities or do you develop the qualities in a leader, like the difference between the two? And some thoughts I have on this. For one, I want to say that I think to take the pressure off completely, because if you would ask me, if I had to think of that question when I just started off, I probably would have been extremely intimidated. Let me say that, because the thought of like me when I started this and having to create or develop leaders would have been terrifying. I'd have been like, I don't know how to create a leader. I didn't feel like I was a leader, right? For a very long time, I did not feel like I was a leader. I struggled with those feelings even as a jewel. So to take the pressure off, I want to say it starts off with simply linking arms with people and just doing it together. It's just teaching them to do what you are doing. That's all it starts with. In the beginning, that was all it was. It was the contagious energy and, hey, you can do what I'm doing, and we're learning together and we're growing together. And it's all just happening together, right? So that's how it started. It was simple, right? And so I want to empower you guys that is what all of you can do. That's what everybody can do from the start, right? When you just join. But some tangible things that I do think are really, really helpful, that I think are important, and what has helped me as I can look and articulate better now, is I think empowering people is extremely important. So telling them what they do well, right? Looking for qualities. When they're hesitating or aren't sure about what to do, or knowing the right step or answer, empowering them that they do know it, or, hey, you know this answer, or we've talked about this, or you've done this so well before, or you're great at, so giving them that encouragement, and in helping bring out the things that you see in them, right? So that they can step forward into that. And then as they grow, you're going to empower them more, right? So at the beginning, it could be telling them that about, maybe it's just as simple as their posts. Later, it could be encouraging to do a video, right? So really bringing things out in people. And then another thing is leaning into the hard with your people. You have to know that things are going to be uncomfortable. It's going to get difficult, right? There's going to be excuses in really hard things. And it could either cause you to shrink back with your people, and you can let them have those excuses and say it's uncomfortable or they're not whatever, and you can shrink back with them, or you can be the one that empowers them again to move forward. You're the ones that is that steady ship, right, for them. Okay. Because there's going to be the storms, there's going to be everything, and you get to be the one that can be steady through those storms. They can be freaking out, and you can maybe in your mind be freaking out a little bit. That's when you go up, right, to your upline. But you get to be that steady person for them, and no, we're going to get through this. And here's what can we do, right? Yes, this is hard, but what can we do? And then another thing is casting vision. So where are you guys going together, right? What is this going to look like? What do you see in that person? Where do you see them going? What do you see changing in their lives? What do you see them stepping into? What do you see the impact that they're going to make for themselves, their family, for other people? Do you see them call out their strengths, and how do you see them using those right now and in the future, right? So, and you're doing that for these people, and it's not just a one-time thing for all of this stuff. It has to be a constant thing. It has to be something you're doing over and over again, right? You can't just say, okay, well, I built belief and I casted that vision, and I don't know why they're falling off or whatever. How often are you doing that, right? Is this a part of how you're doing life together? It's not just a one-time thing, because there's not just only one hard thing, right? It's always, you're going to have things come up. So, and then really quick on the qualities in a leader, it's both. You look for the qualities and you develop them, right? I mean, if one, like I was saying earlier, I look for the things I'll tell someone. If I see someone, I say like, hey, they connect really well with people, or they inspire me. I've seen things that they're posting about or sharing. It inspires me. It inspires other people. Like, you would do great with this, right? Work ethic, or if they're passionate, right? If they can find purpose in things, if they're willing to learn, like that goes a long way. So there's qualities, so many others, character, so many good ones. But also things are developed as well. Because if you would have looked at me when I first started, I would not have said like, oh yeah, this person has all it takes to go to the top. Like, nope. That's why I had friends that messaged me and were like, what are you doing? Like, this is not you, like, you're not going to do good with this. But that's where things are developed. And when I think about how things were developed for me, part of it was that vision and belief. Part of it was someone else calling out what's possible and saying that I could do it too. Someone else calling out these qualities in me, or saying, yes, you can lead team calls, and yes, you can do this and that. And I wouldn't have stepped into those things if it was not asked of me, if it was not shown the way and dragged me with, right? So do that for your people too. All right. So I'm looking for you guys. So if I see you on mute, I'll pause. Next question. What cold messages? I know we're a little bit over too, but we have a few more good questions. So if you guys are good, we'll go for a little bit longer. Is that okay? All right. What cold messages work the best for you? Do you find sending testimonials instead of messages working better? What's something that we can give them tangible to say?
Yeah, I would love to talk to this one. So first of all, before I'm pulling up my scripts here, before I share what I use for cold message, I just want to say that I learned, I mean, I don't know, it's been a couple years now, but I learned that I was keeping people in the friend zone for far too long because I was comfortable there. And I didn't always send that message right away because it was uncomfortable. So that's the first thing I want to say is get uncomfortable, you guys. Just get comfortable getting uncomfortable. Okay. That's what this business is about. And you know what? That is where I have grown. I have grown in all of the uncomfortable stuff that I have had to do through this. And it is exactly where the growth happens. Please hear me on that. Okay. So if you are going through your workday and feeling like you are uncomfortable, that's really good. You want to be there. Okay. And then you keep going and pushing through that uncomfortable. And then you know what? You know what happens? It gets comfortable after a while. It's not scary anymore. Okay. So when I was starting to build relationships, and we've talked about this a lot. And if you're on Gold Coaching, I have talked about this there too. How long do you relationship build, right? How long do you do that? How long do you keep somebody in the friend zone? Well, like I said, I was doing it way too long. A month is way too long. Okay. I would say 2 weeks or less. All right. If you add a new friend on Facebook, they go in your system, whether that is Dough, whether that is your notebook, paper, whatever works for you, you add a new friend, it goes down in your system. Okay. Maybe you message on their, wall on their posts, they had a camping trip or they just had a son graduate or whatever. Engage a little bit, and then honestly, I'm in their inbox. It is not long. It's probably for sure less than 2 weeks for me. Sometimes it's less than a week. I started using a certain script of verbiage that has been very, very effective for me. Not only in recruiting people, but in getting people to engage back to me in Messenger and being okay with me sending them information, even when I literally have been friends with them for a week on Facebook. I got this from another Diamond, and she had a team member using it, and it was very effective. And so I started using it. And so some of you know it, but basically it just says, hi, Sarah, I know we haven't had much of a chance to connect on here. That phrase right there kind of excuses you out of the relationship building, because some people are looking for that. And honestly, these days, you guys, people know why you're in their inbox. They don't want to poo-poo around all the small talk. Okay, just get right to the point. Let's get right to the point. Somebody messages me, I'm like, I don't need to tell you my life story and build a relationship. Just tell me what you want. Okay. And let's get to the point. And I really think that's where people are these days, because they know there's social sellers everywhere. Okay. And so don't be afraid to just get right to the point. So that verbiage, I know we haven't had much of a chance to connect on here, so I'll keep this brief. I'm sure you're crazy busy like I am. Anyway, I've been using these plant-based products for 8 years. I love getting to introduce other women to them. I have no clue if this is something you'd be interested in, but I'd love to send you some info. Could I share with you? That is it. And I'm telling you, it has been really, really successful for me. Like I said, it kind of takes out that relationship building part. Now, I'm not saying don't engage, don't not build relationships. We have to do that because we are people in the people business, and we want to build relationships. We want to know what people are about. Kristen, I'll post it, hon. I'll post it in the team page, or in the post in the team page. Okay. So you guys can have it there. But so we want to do that. Okay. That's important. But don't be afraid to cut to the chase and get right after it, because this also is part of having belief. Okay. If you really, really believe in what you're sharing here and are excited to share it and know and believe that everybody needs this, then you shouldn't be afraid to pop in their inbox within a week. Okay. Because you believe that strongly in what you have here. Okay. You have to find that belief in yourself. All right. Like I said, get uncomfortable doing it. And honestly, yeah, I think you'll have really great results. And there's another one I use too, but it's just, I've had some success with it, but this one has been really successful. So I want to encourage you guys to really just get right in there. Okay. Be confident in what you're sharing and get excited. And I usually type it. I love the idea of voice messaging. I think that is fabulous. I do a lot of voice messaging on the second time around. So I'll send this message in a typed message, and then they say, yes, they want information. And I have a certain video I'll share, and I send a checklist. And then, if they engage back again, then I voice message from there. Okay.
Really quick jumping to this one, because I think it's a good tangible one since we're talking about messaging. What about helping people get off the fence and actually get started? Like people who like have shown they're interested, but they're just not getting started. Anybody have anything? I'm kind of putting us all on the spot because I don't know if anybody has something ready for that.
Well, as far as like follow-ups, like, you keep following up and they won't engage, or like, is that kind of
like they're like just getting them off the fence. So it sounds like they're ready, they want to start, but they just haven't yet. So like all these like fence sitters that like, okay, like I know they, you know what I mean? Like, how do we like just actually get them going?
Well, I think it takes time and they have to be ready. You can't ever pressure somebody or force somebody, or it's not going to work. Because if you do, then they're not going to be long-term. So it has to be on their time. So you have to be patient. And that's where consistent follow-up comes in. Like you cannot stop following up with them. We have all talked about this, how many times we have, I followed up with Shelly or whoever, and until they finally did it. So it has to be when they're ready. So I think patience with that and continuing to follow up is really, really important, and continuing to drip on them. Maybe you read a testimony that they have shared, maybe they have shared a health issue that they are struggling with, and you come across a testimony. So you pop that in their chat again. Hey, I read this testimony today. I thought of you, thought you could relate. I've done that before and had people join because of that. So yeah.
Yep. I think also trying to figure out why, like what's holding them back, like, and just straight up asking. Don't be afraid to ask for the objection, essentially. Like ask what's holding you back. Hey, I know you're ready to get started. Is there anything else that's holding you back from getting started today? And just so then you know what it is, right? Is there something? And then if you know what it is, then you can help them through that, or you at least are on the same page, right? Again, it goes back to what Sal said, is they have to be ready, right? At the end of the day. So I think that's a huge one. To some people kind of try and stay away from that because they don't want to hear that no, or they don't want to hear that excuse necessarily. So you try and avoid it, but it's actually the opposite in terms of being effective, right? So lean into that. And then also just like I think it's powerful to build belief in people. Like, what if, I know you've been wanting this, I know you've been on the fence for a while. What if this actually does make that difference for you, for these things that you've wanted, kind of thing. So make sure you're like casting that belief along with that too. All right. I know we're over time. We had a few others, so we can do one or two more, or we can be done. Thoughts? My three other ladies or in the comments.
I'm good with whatever.
One thing I do want to say, keep going, I'm hearing, they can always watch the recording if you have to get off. We do have which ones do we want to do? Okay. I do want to say, because of this convention one quick too here, because I think this is applicable to now. So helping others get invested in attending convention next year. How do you do that, right? Like showing people that this is important investment to make and to commit to. Anybody, I have thoughts on that, but anybody want to pipe in on that?
I think you should just, if you have thoughts, Jamie, you should just tell us your thoughts.
Well, I just want to say, and here's my plug. I wanted to quick comment. We had some other ones we wanted to talk about too quick, but I just want to really quick say, if you are serious about your business, then please register now if you are not. And if you have people who want this in terms of the business, don't be afraid to have that conversation and encourage them, because it is such a huge growth opportunity. And a lot of times, I know we work from home and it's like, well, that's not what's actually going to grow my business, right? Like I just need to recruit people and do this and this, like that doesn't necessarily matter. Or I have these reasons or excuses why it would be hard, or I can't go. So I just want to say, like, consider this an investment in your business. Chris has talked about this in the past, so she had to do investments into being a teacher and attending conferences, right? Consider this a conference that is going to grow yourself in your business, because it'll grow your belief. Everything that we talked about with being contagious, this is a part of that process in building you, right? Also, all of the reasons that you could find not to go, I promise we could all find them too. Oh my goodness, last trip I went on, I mean, I had a page printed out with all these random, one parent picking up a kid here, another parent doing this, another friend doing this, I had to have moving pieces beyond days. I mean, it was stressful. It was not easy, right? But I always figured out to make a way to make it happen. So if it's going to be a cost factor, start saving up money now. Bring in people and use those bonuses now to set aside to help pay for that later. So whatever that is, instead of just dismissing right away, I'm not saying it's not a real reason if you're not going. If you're saying, how do I get my people? This is what you could be saying to your people too, right? I'm not saying you don't have a real reason, but I just encourage you at least to consider and think, okay, instead of I can't, think, how can I? Start letting your brain go to work. Okay, how can I make this happen? Because I am being told that this is really important for my business and it's really important for my growth. So that's my thoughts there.
I'm telling you, anytime you can get to an event, whether it's in somebody's living room or in a school gym, which is what I used to do, is meetings in my school, or to convention, or to Gold School, or Ruby's on the Rise, or whatever, anything, if you can get to an event or a meeting, Momentum meetups, we're going to hold one here in South Dakota, like to take the place of the Momentum meetup. That's not happening in a couple weeks. So we just were like, hey, we still need to meet because we need to be doing this. Like, they're inspiring. It is always good to gather with people. You're going to learn something new, or you're going to teach somebody else something new. Somebody's going to get inspired. I mean, I had my leaders came from coming to events. If you've heard Janelle Moss's story, she did not even consider doing the business until she showed up in my Southside Christian School gym one day on a Saturday. And she thought we were just learning about products. And she ended up hearing business stories and was inspired and ready to go. So you guys, you have to get to events. And then convention is just 10,000 times, literally, the ones that you do in your living room. Literally. So it's just think how inspiring it is to just be around a few people than being around thousands of people and hearing the speakers and the music and the fun and the team time. And just, it's so important. So speak to that, tell them that, and if you haven't been there yet, then say, let's go together. Like I just always think back to when Fallon said she ate hot dogs, which you guys, Fallon said too in the last call, she was mortified that her child was eating goldfish, but she herself ate hot dogs in her room because that was all she could afford. She ate hot dogs at her first convention that she went to, that she was a gold at. Maybe she wasn't even holding rank yet. So where there's a will, there's a way, and you will grow your business when you commit to learning and growing. So make it a priority.
Love it. All right, we'll be done with questions. Any last thoughts from you three other ladies before we close out? All right, I just want to say thank you to these girls for being on and speaking. There's so much wisdom here from these past several years and working this business with you guys and linking arms together. And I'm so grateful. And I want to say to all of you guys, I hope that you have some inspiration or action to take from this, and know that wherever you are at, like everyone here, we have so many diamonds at the top of this company that have different characteristics, different backgrounds, different qualities, different, whatever it is. So your strengths are yours, and that's what you're going to use to grow this business. And that's what you're going to use to make an impact. So it's not about you being like any one of us or any one of those other diamonds out there, right? Like, you be you, and you be the person that's going to make an impact at every level along this journey that you're on. So we are all so thankful for you guys and to be a part of this team together, and excited to continue to grow together. So thanks for being on tonight, and we will see you later.